disagree, which is who wins this fight, Ilia or Islam? I'll just let you guys just go at it because I'm sure that you both just want to kind of get into it. So either one of you can start. I'll just kind of hang back and listen and read some chats.
Go ahead, Persian.
All right. Okay. So I understand. Like, I picked I picked Umar to beat Marab, and I understand it didn't go his way, but I'm still sticking with it. If they run it back, I'm always gonna pick Umar. I don't know why. I tend to go for the Dagestanis. It's not because I feel like their fighting style is the best, like watching wise. It's just I feel like it's hard to beat. And but regarding the Islam and Ilia, so people were quick to judge to say that Islam had a bad performance against Poirier, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but I think he had a staph infection in his arm or leg or somewhere. And from what I've seen, is that most fighters with staph infections lose. Like for example, Kevin Lee, I think he had a staph infection against Tony Ferguson, and then Rockich had it against Jiri. Who else? There's Sean Strickland against Duplessis. Like from what I've seen, I think the only person I've seen that had a staph infection that was popular that won their fight was Islam against Poirier, and I'm pretty sure he's finished everyone he's fought, like known people, except for the first match against Volk. And we've already seen what he's capable of doing to Volk. He just got it out of him quick. I know it was a short notice fight, but I know Ilia. He's nice. I'm not saying I'm a fan of him, but I just feel like he's too small. I feel like I don't know. He's just gonna get he's not gonna get finished like one in the first 2 rounds. I don't think that. I think he's possibly gonna get finished in the later rounds or by decision. That's just what I think. I feel like I mean it'll be a close fight. Hopefully, I always want fights to be entertaining and close, just because it gives it that oomph and like entertainment. But I don't see a way where he could KO Islam. No fucking way. The only way Islam got KO was by a lucky ass punch by Adriano Martins. I think that's his name. But I don't know. There's no way they're gonna KO him. Listen, I got a whole shirt here. I brought this out for the stream, bro. If Islam fucking loses, I'm burning this shit, bro. No fucking way. I have so much faith in him. He's so good, bro. Ilya's good too. I just feel like personally, if he were to go up against Lopez, I think that would be a really good match. I have Ilia winning that, but I truly think if he went against Mazar, I think he might lose. Or it might be a matchup like Umar versus Marab, where it'll be a close fight, but it'll be a take two. That's just what I think. I think no matter who wins, it's going to be a good fight regardless. But I do think Ilia wins. Or fuck, Islam wins. My bad.
You immediately stole my argument, but you can't say that there is no way that Ilya knocks him out. Islam got knocked out by, as really well said by you, Adriano Martins. Bro, you're comparing Adriano Martins, who could pull it off, to Ilia Topuria, who is not only the best boxer that we have ever seen on the sport, also the hardest hitter that we have ever seen in lighter weight divisions. Like, especially in lightweight, we can remember the only fight that Ilya had against Jai Herbert. He sent that motherfucker to the shadow realm, bro. It was a brutal, vicious KO. Like, it was like he was turning off a robot, some one punch man shit. The dude fell fucking forward. I think that there is a huge possibility of Islam getting knocked out by Ilya, especially if he gets caught as many times as he did against Dustin Poirier. If we remember the Dustin fight, Islam was getting caught with punches like left and right, especially in those rounds close to the way that he finished it. So I can see like clearly my head Ilya getting a knockout on Islam, who's not an elite boxer as Ilya is, and I think that the gap between Ilya boxing and Islam boxing is bigger than the gap between Islam wrestling and grappling and Ilya's. As we saw against Bryce Mitchell, who got fucking ragdolled. And remember, Bryce Mitchell is a guy who's used to fraud check guys who can't wrestle in the UFC. He got so many submissions wins. He only got a knockout in his last fight. After that, all submissions. So I think that the gap in boxing is really big. I think that uh, Islam had trouble against Dustin, who is inferior, and I've spoke for a lot, but I have more arguments. You know, Ilia can go to the body as he did with Max, rocking him with the fucking right hand, and then going straight to the body. And Islam is a fucking southpaw, so he has his liver more exposed. I just think that there are so many possibilities in a fight of 5 rounds where Islam can get caught and fucking dropped, as he was dropped against Adrian.
All right, so I want to add this is sometimes I forget what I want to say, but one of the points I wanted to say is I feel like Islam, he's just gonna play it smart, just like how Magomed did against Ankalaev. Like I feel like Ankalaev, his goal was to not do a slugfest kind of fight against Pierre. He was just like kind of like play it safe and technical. And I feel like Islam, he has a reach advantage. He could just use that to his advantage. On top of that, his striking is not terrible. He was having good exchanges against Volk. And then what's his name? Poirier. I don't know who else he's fought that's worth mentioning, but he could use kicks. I'm not sure if Ilia uses that kicks that much, but I feel like Islam has the better kicks. I feel like he doesn't have to take him down. He could do the same shit like Ankalaev. And I know Romo said he doesn't like it, but like the fact that like, let's say if he goes for a takedown, and let's say Ilia defends it, he could just hold him on the cage. He could just do that until the rules get changed where you can't do that. He could just use that to his own advantage and just hold him against the cage, make him make his stamina like fatigued and just take over. He could just use kicks, just keep it in range. I feel like the only way, I might have said no way, but the only way I could see Ilia winning is by landing a fucking knockout. He can't. I don't see him at all 100% not winning by decision or submission. I feel like submission. If it's gonna go to submission or a decision, it's gonna go to Islam all the way. And I know Ilia is a good grappler, but I don't think he uses that much. I think the last time he used it was against Josh Emmett, and like I don't even remember how that fight really went because it was pure domination. But I feel like if Islam plays it safe and just doesn't go for the knockout blow and just maybe just hope for the finish at the later sequences, he could win by that.
I agree with you that of course, there's the chance that Islam do some Magomed shit and hugs Ilya to death. But I think it's really hard to do against Ilya because we have seen it. All he needs is one punch. All he needs is one rock. You are fucking cooked because he is a master of going to the head. Once you're preoccupied with the head, he goes to the body, and once you're preoccupied with the body, he knocks you out. We saw that with Max Holloway. Once he hit that right hand rock, Max was stunned. He went up against the cage, protecting his head. Ilya landed a fucking brutal shot to the body, and that fucked up Max's head. He was able to circle out, but he was too preoccupied because either he would get knocked out in the body or get knocked out in the head. And once that Ilya feinted a knee, and Max dropped his hands to defend the knee shot to the body, or the hand shot to the body, and that's when he got caught with the left hook. So in my opinion, there is a chance that Islam don't get caught and wins by decision, but if he gets caught with Ilya's power, I think he's going down.
Let me add this. So from the recent fights that Ilia has had, he's Max, Volk, and then Jai Herbert. Jai Herbert, he's not even that good, and I don't know the reasons. I don't know if it was a short notice fight with Ilia going up against Jai Herbert, but he got head kicked, and I know he won the fight. True, that's good for him, but he got dropped, and Jai Herbert is not fucking Islam, and I feel like if Islam that landed that head kick against Volk, if he did that to fucking Ilia, I feel like he could take advantage of that. If he doesn't go to sleep, he could just get on top of him and just ground and pound, or just use that as a sort of way to use a submission against him. But I don't know. I just feel like he's struggling. Like I feel like he's a good fighter. I feel like maybe he could land. My bad. Maybe he could land something against Islam, but I just don't think he could finish Islam. He could maybe stun him or like have a sequence like what Volk did to Islam in the first fight, but I don't see it happening.
I don't think that's reasonable because once you Ilia is too much power, man. Especially in lightweight, with that extra pounds, too much power. If you get rocked and he lands a sequence on you, you at least gonna be crippled for the next round at least. And that's just not what we have seen happen. Once Ilya cracks someone's, they get dropped, bro. They get dropped, and we have to remember against Jai Herbert that guy is huge for the division, at least in the height aspect. He's like 185 centimeters. Islam is something like 177. So it would be harder to get a head kick, for example, and keep it at the range. I think Islam could do that. He's technical enough to do it, but I think that it's not easy to land a shot like that at Ilia, a clean shot like that at Ilia, even though it happened against Jai Herbert. And with the extra power, if Islam gets caught, that's big problem, bro.
The only thing that we can judge is against Jai Herbert, and I don't know. I just feel like he hasn't really been tested in the upper weight classes. I feel like he just might get and people, I think they call Islam a weight bully. So like, if anything, if he is a weight bully, or if he does way more than what people think, and he cuts down to 155, he could obviously use that to his advantage. Because I'm pretty sure the more weight you carry, that can help you with the power of the punches, the power of the kicks, just everything. I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like Ilia is too small. I don't know. I just feel like we'll see. I guess we'll see. Hopefully that fight does happen.
Ilia is pretty small for lightweight, but he also got a factor comparable to Islam, where he's way lighter in the weightings at featherweight than he's at the fights. I saw a card that, like, from the UFC that measured the fighters on the weigh-in and on the day of the fight, and Ilia got like the percentage of growth compared to the weigh-in. Ilia's was bigger than Islam. Of course, Islam's bigger, and of course, it's more a big factor to be able to put more weight if you are already at the cap of lightweight. But especially because Ilia is younger, I don't think it will be like a fucking dog walk situation, where it's like completely overpowers Ilia, who is really strong also.
I just want to bring up as well, so a couple of people in the chat, as well as you, Persian, have brought up Jai Herbert. He got dropped by Jai Herbert, and he was holding on for his legs for dear life. And then another member of the chat, Crowcart, said, yeah, he got dropped, but just like Islam evolved, Ilia did. So it's like, Islam got actually TKO'd. And yeah, Ilia may have got dropped, but I mean, he didn't get TKO'd. I guess that could be that could be a point. But if we're gonna bring up people getting dropped by cans, I mean, it happened to Islam too, and now he's like the GOAT of lightweight. But to counter you, Persian, some people are saying, Max was eating clean punches from Ilia for most of the fight. You're overrating his power.
Overrating who?
What's that, sorry?
He said overrating who? Overrating.
Victor is overrating Ilia's power because Max was eating clean punches for most of the fight, according to.
Bro, it's Max Holloway, bro. He can eat punches, Ilia was the only one to knock Max out. Who the fuck you're speaking about, bro? He hits harder than anyone we have ever seen in the lighter weight divisions. I don't think that the majority of the people in the chat or even here argues with that. Like it's fucking Max Holloway, the granite chin. Of course, he can take some shots, but he couldn't take them for long.
Yeah. So I don't know who said it, but in the comments, how you brought up the fact that he whatchamacallit, how Islam got knocked the fuck out, and then Ilia got dropped. Well, the thing is that they did both evolve. I'm not saying that they didn't. It's just the fact that I think Islam, it happened in 2015, and the Jai Herbert versus Ilia, I think it happened like, I don't know, maybe 2021 and 2022. So I feel like Islam has had more time to improve than Ilia, and I'm not saying Ilia is bad. I promise you, I'm not. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like he just loses. I just feel like Islam had way more time to evolve. That's like 10 years almost. Like since 2015, I think the knockout happened in 2015, and Ilia got dropped in like 2021. And that's against wait, never mind. But like Jai Herbert's ass, and like so is Adriano Martinez. But still, I just feel like other than that, Islam's too big. He could strike with him. And then if he wants to mix it up, just exactly like Magomed, maybe he could do it like way more impressive and way more entertaining. But I just feel it's going to be like a Magomed versus Piera. And I was honestly shocked talking about that fight. I thought Magomed would have at least took him down a couple of times. I'm impressed by Alex. I thought, because I saw his fight against Izzy, and then he got taken down for a whole round. And I understand that fighters can improve, but I feel like it takes time to like work on something like that. Because, for example, this motherfucker Yair Rodriguez, I used to be a fan of him. He fought against Max Holloway. I don't know if you saw that fight. He was winning the fight until Max started to fucking take him down. And then I expected him. I think he discussed something about focusing on his takedown defense. And then you saw what happened against fucking not even Volk, because Volk's good, but like Brian Ortega. Like, how are you gonna let him take you down, bro? He's like kind of on the downfall right now, and he just got he was winning on the fucking feet. He stunned Ortega. Ortega survived, and I think the next round he just got submitted. Like, bro, that dude, if he worked on his takedown defense, dude, that guy would be nice. But I don't know. I just feel like
he got into MMA way too late, bro. He was the oldest champion in UFC, older than John Jones. And he got in the sport like 4 years ago. It was pretty impressive what he could do against Magomed. I'm really, really sad. I'm Brazilian, if you guys don't know.
Yeah.
I really love Poatan, and I was really sad about that fight because Hank actually fought like a man and beat him fair and square. I mean, it was fair and square, but beat him like a man, I wouldn't give a shit, but the way that it happened, like, that was so fucking frustrating.
I agree, yeah.
Shit.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if you're going to beat him in the grappling, I mean, at least take him down and do some damage, like,
Yeah.
if
he submitted Alex, I wouldn't be at all, like, as triggered as I am about that fight.
I mean, in his defense, though, I'm pretty sure for the majority of the first 3 rounds, it was all standing bang. And then I don't really remember how the fifth round happened, but I understand the 4th round was all just hugging. But like, I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm not upset about that. It's just because I was rooting for the fighter to win. I feel like maybe if it was like roles reversed, I would be frustrated. But I don't know. That's just how I look at it. Like, I had money on fucking Jan beating Marab, and bro, he just got fucking outworked. Oh my, that shit pissed me off. Like, oh, bro, I heard he defended like 20 takedowns, and he just kept going after and after and after. Like, that's crazy. I'm not even a fan of Marab. I used to be a fan of him up until the point against his Aldo fight. But I think after I started, I picked Cejudo to win, and then I picked him against O'Malley because I don't like O'Malley. But then I picked Umar. I don't like him, but I feel like, dude, his resume is stacked, bro. I think he has a win over Cejudo, O'Malley, Umar. He has some other way more people that Aldo, Marias, bro. I feel like he could be maybe bantamweight weight goal if he could beat Umar if they fight again. He's really good.
Right. So yeah, I do agree. Yeah, I do agree. Marab's fucking solid. But well, let's get back on to the debate. So we have chatting here from AJ McAnderson. Islam being a southpaw removes a few weapons from Ilia's arsenal. His outside leg kick is gone. Combinations aren't as easy to land. What stance were Volk and Max in when they got KO'd? Thoughts on that one?
but it also exposes his liver. And we have seen few guys that can explore that in a more technical and effective way than Ilia can explore body shots and damage to the gas tank. So, of course, I think that's a factor. I think that being a southpaw could make some aspects of Ilia's game harder, but I also think that the liver exposure, like especially when we think about Ilia being a small guy for lightweight and not rangy, it's really good for him to have easier access to those body shots on the fucking hardest region to get punched. Like if you guys do boxing, you know how bad that shit is to get liver shot at. And I think that's something that Ilya, being a really smart fighter, is gonna be eager to explore.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think. I mean, obviously, being a southpaw is obviously it's a bit tricky, but I mean, someone says Krokop said, to be fair, Ilia constantly switches his stance whilst he boxes as well. So, well, I mean, he could just, I guess, switch. Um, but yeah, I mean, so how do you think Ilia wins this fight? And do you think it's like just like a, because obviously you keep saying like he could, all he needs is one punch. All he needs is one punch. Do you think his only chance is a KO, or do you think he can outstrike him on the feet?
I,
Like, do you deal with the
bro, I'm
grappling
gonna
or?
seem like a fucking glazer, but I don't give a. I think there is a non-0% chance of failure submitting Islam. Non-0% chance. Okay. And I mean, if Ilya beats Islam in any way, is already on track for being the GOAT of the sport. We would be talking about Volk, Max, and Islam back to back to back. It would be insane. But if he submit Islam as soon as Islam goes to sleep, because Islam is not a bitch, he's not gonna tap. Ilya will be instantly the greatest one to ever do it instantly if he submits Islam. I don't give a shit. And I think there's a zero, not 0% chance of that happening. Of course, not likely. I think maybe the least possible outcome, but I sure as hell would love to see that. But overall, I think he, as I said, wins by knockout. Knockout in the first, the third, the fourth round. Too much power, too much technical boxing. Like the fight against Josh Emmett, bro, it's so beautiful to see this fucking guy box. Like combinations that we don't even see in professional boxing. Like unless like with guys from the lighter divisions, like monsters, like Unaya Inoue, I think is the best boxer in the world, close to Alexander Usyk. Like some beautiful shit, like some technical, efficient combinations with like straight hands, uppercuts. He's really good at that shit, and that's why I like Ilya. Even though he knocked out Max Holloway, it was sad for me to see that shit as fuck as much as it was for the next guy, But you just gotta appreciate how entertaining this guy is and how good he's at boxing, even though his base is fucking wrestling and jiu-jitsu. That's insane for me.
Well, so who do you think? Cause I hear a lot of points from, and I'm a huge Islam fan. I love Islam. I think it's great, but a lot of the
Me also.
points, or a lot of the points that I hear against why Ilia doesn't stand a chance is they'll say like, well, Islam was able to outstrike Poirier for 5 rounds, and and they
No fucking.
and people rate Poirier's boxing and striking higher than Ilia's. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I
You can
think
go prison.
all right. I think that that performance that Islam had against Dustin, I'm fine with it. I know it's not clean and it's not like dominant, but I'm just going off the fact that he had a staph infection from what I've heard and from what the pictures I've seen, and he managed to win. I feel like I mentioned earlier, most fighters with staph infections, I've never heard someone that has had a staph infection that could win the fight. And I know he was. I think he started bleeding. I think that's the first time and the only time he's been bled in that in a fight before. I don't know if he's been he was bleeding against Volk in the first fight, but still, I feel like as long as he doesn't have any injuries or no staph infections, I feel like he should, easily, not easily, but he should win. He should win.
Well, do you think Dustin's a better striker than Ilia though? That's kind of.
Oh no, my
Okay,
bad.
good.
No, I feel like just because of what Ilia has done, and to go off of he KO'd Max and he KO'd Volk. And here's the thing with Volk, I feel like maybe the reason why he was able to KO Volk was because of the fact that Volk came quickly against Islam, and maybe since Volk is kind of maybe on a downfall, we don't know yet because he has to fight a couple of times, but I feel like maybe Volk could be on the downfall. That's why I'm picking him against Lopez, and maybe the fact that Islam KO'd Volk is the reason why Ilia was able to capitalize on that, and the fact that Volk didn't really sit out and let him, let his body rejuvenate. I feel like maybe that's the reason why Ilia was able to KO him.
I think that work. Speak.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
I think that argument of short notice Volk went to shit as soon as Max Holloway got dropped, because he was the hardest guy to, and even maybe is still the hardest guy to knock out in the UFC. So I have no doubt that in a rematch with Volk, which I really don't want to see because I like Volk, he would get dropped even if he got 1 year to prepare. And just to go back to the point that Bromo brought up, Islam did not dominate Dustin on the feet. There was some points where he got outstruck. And I really didn't see that fighting going as that guy said at all. Like, Dustin looked really good on the feet at some points, but there was some points, to be fair, that Islam outstruck him also. But not domination. And I forgot the other one point, but that's pretty much my perspective on it.
So you think that Islam's performance against Dustin doesn't really show that he'll be able to outstrike Ilia Topuria?
Outstrike, no fucking shot. No fucking shot outstrike. But maybe hold his ground on the feet and wrestle Ilia into a decision. Maybe that fight showed us that Islam has potential to not get pieced up by Ilia on the feet, but outstrike him, no fucking shot.
So, what were you putting? Do you think Islam's striking or could match Ilia's striking, or do you think it comes down to the wrestling?
I'm gonna answer that, but let me grab my charger real quick because my phone's gonna die.
All right, yeah, no worries.
Be right back.
No problem. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so we could actually just go through some chats since Persian's going to get his phone charger. Honestly, you're in the minority here, Victor. A lot of the chat. I mean, we have the polls up. It's mostly votes for Islam. Dustin is a way better striker. Ilia just has power.
Ilia, watch the fight against Josh Emmett. That was some really high level boxing.
I mean, people are going to come back and say, yeah, but it's Josh Emmett, innit? That's what people
I'm not talking only about Josh Emmett. I'm talking every Ilia fight, but the one against Josh Emmett to me, make me see that this is beautiful, we can talk about Volk, we can talk about Bryce Mitchell, even the fight, some really good combinations. I just think that Ilia is the best boxer we have ever seen. Maybe not the best striker. I think
ever seen. He's the best ever.
Boxer, yes. I think the best striker is Alex Pereira. but the boxing just, bro, it's so beautiful, so technical. I really like it, this boxing.
All right. Well, we got someone in the chat that's saying Islam would outbox him on the feet here.
I feel like it would be a
I
situation
disagree
where
with you, bro.
I feel like it'd be a situation where he'll have moments where he could outstrike him and then just mix up the wrestling. I feel like that's the best way to beat Ilia. And I know Ilia is a wrestler, or his first wrestling or his first martial art was wrestling or something. But I just feel like Islam, he's been training, and I feel like his discipline is way more fucking uh, at key than Ilia. I feel like Ilia, he's kind of acting like a celebrity now, and I'm not saying he's horrible or anything. I just feel like uh, mentality wise, you got to go Islam. I feel like Islam, this is his life. I feel like Ilia, I don't know if he really considered this his life. I just feel like he's just talented. That's what I would say.
I think it's both, man. You can't like do what he's done without extreme discipline. Like the biggest factor for me is he saying that he's gonna knock Max out and doing like being fucking sure that he can also submit Islam, even though I think that likely I cannot say that there's 0% of that happening because Ilya is someone who walks the walk when he talks the talk, and you cannot like make these allegations if you are and back up on them if you are not training really hard, if you're not really disciplined. And of course there's talent, but I would agree with you that Isla is have better mentality because he's a fucking Dagestani. This motherfucker is training the snow. But I think that Ilya is not like some fucking celebrity wannabe who's not disciplined enough to take a guy like Islam.
I, I might have rephrased that bad. I'm not saying he's not disciplined. I'm just saying comparing his discipline from what I've seen to Islam. I feel like Islam, like I said, I feel like he considers this his life. He does it every day. I don't know how he lives his life, but just the vibes I get from him is that he does this every day. He just trains every day. This is his life. And Ilya, I'm not saying he's disciplined, but just compared to Islam, I feel like it's a way different thing, like mentality wise.
I think both the guys have that mentality, and that's why I consider it to be the best fight in history. Two guys who are extremely talented, extremely good mindset, I ain't afraid of anybody, extremely technical, beautiful to see fighting, going up against each other on their primes, on the high point of their win streaks. It's really, really exciting.
To bring up the point where my bad, Brahma, where you said I was gonna answer the question and then I went to go get my charger. Like you can judge it, but you can at the same time just because the staph infection. And I feel like hypothetically, if the staph infection wasn't existing, I feel like Islam would have been able to outstrike. He would have been not even outstriking. He would have been able to do better than what he did. And I feel like he was able to stand with him. I don't think he really wrestled in that fight until this finishing sequence. But the fact that he wasn't leaning on wrestling, was he or no?
He did wrestle, if I'm not mistaken, at the second round. He got
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was the first round where he almost submitted him. But basically most of the fight I'm pretty sure most of the fight was, standing and trading. But other than the first or second round where they were wrestling in the last sequence, I feel like he didn't really rely on as much. And the fact that he had a staph infection. So I feel like maybe his fight against Ilia, he could outperform with his striking and he could mix in wrestling more. And maybe he could learn from his mistakes that he had with Poirier. Because maybe I'm not saying Poirier is a better striker. I think it's maybe that's up for debate. I don't really have a stance on that, but Poirier is a good enough striker where he could use his use the things that he didn't do well against Poirier and use that against Ilia and find similarities between the two.
All right. So, all right. Well, I think essentially what this comes down to is will Islam will Islam's defensive boxing allow him to get caught? Because I feel like Victor, you're kind of in the mindset of it's a KO. He's not gonna obviously submit him. Do you think he could win it on points, or do you think it's just a KO win?
No, KO. On points, Islam's gonna win the fight.
Okay.
Because the UFC judges have this cringy tendency to reward putting someone up against the cage and doing nothing. I'm not saying that Islam's gonna do that. He's one of the best clinch fighters we have ever seen, if not the best. I think right up there with DJ. Uh, but the judges reward the kind of fighting style that Islam has a lot more than Ilias. So I don't think he wins by decision. I don't see that happening. I think it's KO.
And what round do you think it'll be? And do you think it's gonna be early or late or what?
Third or fourth. I don't think that Islam's gonna let himself get caught like early in the fight. But as I said, with Ilia, all it takes is one sequence. So it's going to be hard to find it, but I trust that eventually he's going to find it. And I mean, if Islam can survive that, then he's got a great shot of winning. But Ilia, for the power he has, especially in lightweight, where he's got some extra pounds, some extra meat, I think he can get that sequence and stand Islam.
But here's the thing, though. I feel like if anything, Ilia has to find the KO in the earlier rounds. I feel like the longer the rounds go, the more it's better for Islam. I feel like they'll go in Islam's way. I feel like maybe he could, because I feel like if the later the rounds go, that means that he's gonna get obviously more tired and he might get more sloppier. I'm not saying he is, but it's just more likely to happen. I feel like once a fighter gets tired, they're just gonna just do some stupid shit. But I feel like
on average third, maybe the start of fourth, pushing the end of second. But I agree that five round KO, Ilia will probably be too tired at that point to pull a knockout off.
And the thing is, I got two things to say. How are we gonna have an Ilia versus Islam debate if we don't have Ilia Glazer? Tell his ass to get in here now, bro. But the thing is that I feel like I don't know. Islam's not gonna he's not gonna be. He's just not gonna be in a position where I feel like he's gonna get caught. Maybe Ilia will land something that could stun him, and I feel like maybe, hopefully, that does happen. Just because I don't know if y'all saw the fight where Romero versus Izzy, where Romero he landed a really nice overhand, and then the rest of the fight Izzy kept on running around. So maybe a situation like that happens where fucking Ilia lands something that makes Islam stay on top of his shit and just not be in a position where he gets caught.
So bloody hell, AJ Mick Anderson, great debate, everyone. Have a surgery to perform in 30. Catch you all later. Fucking hell. Good luck with that.
Yo, bro, God bless you.
Yeah.
God bless you. May he be with you on the surgery, bro.
Gee Louise, man. Yeah. I hope it goes well, brother. Nice to see you. Yeah. Anyway, so how do you think it goes on, Persian? Are you thinking submission, decision? What's your final verdict on this fight?
I honestly think any option, to be honest. I feel like honestly anything. I feel like decision, it could go him. KO, maybe that's the worst option between all the three, but I feel like the one, but at the same time, I feel like Islam has been on a finishing streak, so that's why maybe I could see him doing anything he wants. But I feel like if I had to pick between submission and finish, I feel like maybe he could TKO. I'm not gonna say KO, but I feel like maybe ground and pound or just I don't know. And also, people don't want to look at it, but also there could be fucking doctor stoppages or disqualification that could happen, and I don't know, or a draw could happen, but I don't know. I feel like there's not going to be a draw. Hopefully, there's not a doctor stoppage, but I feel like Islam, he could do anything. He could do decision, he could do submission, or he could do KO or TKO.
Oh, fair enough. All right,
I
let's.
think that on the range of Islam, I agree that on the range of the ways that Islam could beat Ilia, uh, any of the alternatives could be valid. But I think that the percentage of times in which Ilia beats Islam is greater than the other thing happening.
Wait, my bad. I want to bring this up because Pro Cup, you mentioned Emmett's name. So here's the thing: if y'all look into it, Emmett had Ilya fight. I don't know if there was any stuns in that fight, but all I know is that it went to decision, and Emmett, his face was fucked up. But the thing is that Emmett, that was a featherweight fight. Now, if you look at his fight against Michael Johnson, or I don't know if it was Michael Johnson, but I know he had a fight against no, he KO'd Michael Johnson, I think. But he had a fight against Jeremy Stevens, and I know he's powerful. But the fact that Jeremy Stevens, who wasn't possibly going to be a champion, or I don't know what his ranking was, but I don't think he would have been top 5 ever in his division. Him clean KOing Josh Emmett, and Josh Emmett not being KO'd by Ilia, I just feel like there's levels to it. I don't know. I feel like Josh Emmett, he wasn't KO'd by Ilia, and I feel like the fact that Ilya's going to go up in weight class, I don't know, it's just not going to be good for him.
I think that Josh Emmett had one of the fights of his life. I really think that. I mean, he was really old, though. Of course, there was prime Josh Emmett, and I'm pretty sure he was even champion at some point in the real far past. But it was complete domination, even though at a really good performance by Josh Emmett, which is not the biggest parameter, but complete technical domination by Ilia. Uh, and I don't think that people give enough credit to Josh for that fight, especially seeing the things that Ilia did to his opponents after that. He's been finished everybody else, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not his first fight in the UFC. Actually, he did finish that one. But I really think that even that, which wasn't like Ilia's most brutal fight, it also showed how good he is on the feet, how good he's of a boxer. I encourage everyone to watch that fight again. It is really beautiful.
The first fight I've ever watched of Ilia was against Ryan Hall, and I didn't know anything about Ilia. I had a friend that liked Ilia, and he actually knew him way before me, but I didn't know anything about him, and I just stupidly chose Ryan Hall to beat his ass. And I don't know if y'all saw that fight. He just kept going for these Imanari rolls or something. That fight was horrible, but Ilia, he got on top of him, and then he just started like pounding on him. Like, that's crazy.
Joe Rogan was fucking sucking Ryan Hall's cock the entire fight. Like, this guy's so fucking unpredictable. This guy's fucking, oh my god, he's got Ilia on his fucking game plan. And then Ilia proceeded to fucking murder the guy and ground and pound. And it was really fun.